There we go. Okay, let's start. So, welcome. Yeah, I've been away for a bit, but I've been planning a bunch of new monsters. So, yeah, last time we did a bunch of UI stuff, and but now I'm gonna focus on some more monsters, and I've made some graphics and stuff for a couple of new monsters, 2 new monsters. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing this stream. So we have these 2 here, mossing and stening, and yeah, mossing is gonna be kind of the standard walking left to right monster, the easy sort of the first monster that you will encounter basically. Well, that's the idea anyway. And then stening is more it's gonna be more it's gonna have like a hard shell or a rock that is kind of protecting it, and but it's gonna be a pretty simple monster also. So it's 2 pretty simple monsters, and the way I'll be doing this is, well, we already have like a monster AI system and a monster AI structure, but that's specifically for the existing monster that we already have. So I'm gonna try and see if we can either I'll make a new struct for the new monsters for each one and the new system. I think I'll start with that and then copy over things that are shared. And then I'll try to think of a way, I think, in the end to actually have abstract some things out, because it's gonna be a lot of work doing like specific ones for each one. I think. Well, we'll see what we end up. It might be specialized structs for each one, but let's start with that, because I think it's easiest to just start from the beginning. So let's go ahead and go to our monster struct. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here as well. So I think what I'll do is I will just copy this probably, and I will yeah, there's gonna be, maybe actually we'll make this into a generic type. Like, you could have a bunch of common state out in a main struct, and that way the monsters actually share this monster AI component. So you know if the sort of entity, because we're using ECS, if the entity has this component, then we know it's a monster. But then it could have several different types. Like, you could have a field called type, and then that would be like a monster type, and then you would have a monster type struct, or this could be a union enum. And so here you would have the different types. So you would have one for this monster, and you can have one for this one, and one for this one, and then that would like have specific data that's only supposed to be for that type of monster. So you could do that, and then keep like more generic stuff in here. So for example, this one is kind of specific to the first monster. This one could be more generic, and this one is generic, and this one is, well, it's probably generic. This is kind of more complicated though, because the states also are both, it's the same thing here. It's like a lot of these things are probably gonna be specific to a monster, but then you're gonna have a lot of things that is also common. So, for example, all of these are probably gonna be common. Well, maybe not walk for like flying monsters, but another way is to actually just add more state here. So you would have all of the different states for all different monsters, and then the system will decide, depending on the type of monster, which states it's actually gonna end up with. So I'm not sure. You can do this in a lot of different ways. I'm just trying to think before I'm doing stuff. So I think I like this a little bit, so I'm gonna start with it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna move the state in there though yet. Or maybe we do move the state, but we keep this around or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, this is... Maybe the state is yeah. Let's do it. Let's keep it like this, and I think I'll move some of these things, like this one, into this one. So let's do like this is clear, and this one actually has the throw cooldown and set. And then we have mossing. So I'll just make these to empty structs for now, because they don't really have anything right now, but you can add specific things for these later. Alright, so let's see. Yeah, so now we need to... Oh, also the hitbox is probably... Yeah, that's gonna be specific for the type of monster. So we need to move this into here. Okay. And then these guys, well, they do need a hitbox, but it's gonna be different. So, but I'll start with the mossing, and we'll see where it ends up at. Let's also do a init function. Just to make it easier to work with here. And we'll do one here as well. Okay. Yeah. So now I actually need a type monster type here to actually populate this with. Primitive type. So I wonder if type is correct here. I mean, I guess I could rename this to monster type. Also, yeah, let's just do that. But you could rename this something else, just because you don't want to get collision with stuff. Okay. Now let's fix the errors that pops up from this. So here we are checking monster AI dot throw cooldown, but we don't actually know if we have that. Also, this if statement looks ridiculous, but let's yeah, so basically all of this is just for the one monster that we already have. So I think this is still gonna be a generic system, generic component, but some of the things we're gonna, like this one for example, like this is specific. And yeah, we have set animation for example, and yeah, we need this. Oh yeah, So we could actually do this. Let's get animation container.instance from entity. So that would actually get the animations that you want. And what's this now? Unused. Yeah. However, I don't think we are adding this when we're initializing the monster. Maybe we should have the same sort of initialize mechanism as we have with NPCs. NPCs, we have a special struct to initialize different types of NPCs, or the different, because each NPC is like unique, and we initialize each NPC, or we define like a list of NPCs basically here with a bunch of different properties and stuff. And we could do that with monsters as well, I guess. So you could have like a monster in it, and you would have this function as well to initialize the actual monster, which calls this one, which adds, you know, a whole bunch of different components and stuff depending on what type of monster you would have and stuff. So we could do that, and then you would define the different monsters like this. But it yeah, I mean, I guess you could do it like that, but I don't think it warrants that for now. So I'll just go to where we initialize the monster right now, which is in this function. And now here we actually need to add this guy. Oh, we need to do this, but we don't have. No, I want to go to the import. We need to import master type. There we go. Yes. Okay, and then we need to add the animation instance, or the animation container. Animation. This one. Oh wait. No, it's simply this one, I think, yeah. So that will actually add. Oh, I was recording. I was wondering why the LSP didn't work. So this will actually add the animation container.instance so that we can get out. So we don't have to go into the animation container and look up the specific animation instance for this. Well, it's kind of weird. This is called an animation instance. This is the actual like sort of current data of the animation. This is where you can get a hold of the definitions of the instance or of the different animations, and I call it animation container.instance, which is like an instance of a container. It's a container instance, and this is more like an animation data instance or whatever. So anyway, yeah, so now we can get that. And let's see, where do we have issues? Yeah, so we have this issue here, and we actually need to check now what type of monster this is, because we're not gonna do a range attack if we're not the correct monster. So we actually need to check if what type of monster we are. I guess well, let's do type is equal to this and all this other stuff, and then here we actually have to do this now. Okay, so that would also like limit this interaction with that type of monster. Okay, And same thing here. So here we know what the type of monster it is, so we can just do this. Now we could do a switch right before and check like what type of monster it is, but I think we're gonna keep this pattern here of having the state sort of generic, and then depending on which type of monster it is, sometimes you want to do something else. For example, when spawning, you might want to do something else when the monster is a certain type or something like that. But then you have these generic sort of functionalities that's happening for all monsters. And here, for example, this one is kind of weird because walking for the original monster is sort of random. It chooses a direction randomly, and it chooses sort of a distance to walk randomly, I think. Well, or not a distance, but a timer. So let's see, is this when it has updated, or no, this is just like ongoing for each frame update. Okay. Yeah, and it's checking if we're gonna aggro, so I think we'll only do this for monsters that actually aggro. So I think maybe we should actually have a bool here which says like something like can aggro is able to aggro or something like that. Can aggro. Can hunt. I'm calling it hunting here, but aggro here as well. Okay, let's call it aggro. So let's actually have this one. So this would be can aggro, and then this would come into play. So I think I like that, having like these generic things that kind of modify the behavior of the monster. So that could be part of the monster type as well. The monster type could have, like, let's say I can do this, can aggro, and this is a monster type, and then I will just return switch self, and if it's a this one or this one, we return true, otherwise we return false. Actually, I will no, let's just keep it like this, because you would notice that you would need to add something here. So this one is sort of the setting. It's sort of a map from monster type to a bool, which means which the meaning of is if it can aggro or not. So now we can actually go back here and we can populate this now. Can aggro. Oops. Now this, we would simply do this now. So can aggro. And I guess you could you don't really need to store it. You could technically call this function every time, but then you would do an if. You would do like this switch instead. I mean, sure, it feels unnecessary to like copy this, and this is probably not like that much big of a deal. So let's search for this, and this would be. I mean, I guess you could put it on Monster AI as well and just bubble it up to monster type. Can aggro. Oops. So this kind of an exercise in both. Oops. In both like adding new monsters, but also trying to find some sort of way to add scalability into the system as well when adding new monsters. instead of just copying things around. So I guess I kind of didn't do what I said I would do in the beginning, like do anything from scratch and copy the things that are common. But once I got in here and looked at it, I just thought that, oh, maybe it's just easier to add the things that we need in here, because I feel like that should be also more scalable, since we're keeping a lot of things the same and things like this. So now we have this special case if we can aggro. Here we also have like a melee attack, and also this one is probably also dependent on which type of monster you're gonna have, but we're gonna keep this constant for now until we need to change that. And here we have like a melee attack, and not all monsters do a melee attack or an attack at all. So we probably wanna also do something with that. So this is probably gonna be very specific for each type of monster. So I think I'll probably have a specific function for each monster when it comes to this, and not have this super generic thing. We could just do, but this kind of defines like what state will the monster end up in this frame. That's kind of what this function is doing. This one changes the aggro, not necessarily the main state of the monster. This one is for the range attack only, and this one is like for all other cases. So if we're not attacking, basically. This one repeats sort of an idle state. Let's actually go in here and check what it's doing, because yeah, we're setting idle and it's basically setting the state. And this one is very specific to the first monster, because it can jump, it can it can just stand around, it can walk around. So this is very specific. I think I want this to be, I think I want to copy this basically and put this into the monster type instead. So gonna have this idle mode, and self is actually now not gonna be, well, we could do self is this guy, but then we also have the AI component here. Maybe even, no, that should probably be good enough, yeah. Yeah, this one is not used, but we still want to have that there so we can more easily access the function. And so here now we can do type set idle. Well, okay, let's do this then. We get this guy out. Now we can say set idle here. Else we don't have anything for now. Well, let's actually add these. I don't think this guy is ever gonna change the state, except to maybe die or something. This one though, this one is supposed to be able to attack, so it should be resetting to idle, perhaps. But let's do this, and we'll copy over this function to the other types as well. Also, these types doesn't necessarily have to be defined in this function, or I mean in this place. We could move them to a separate folder so that we can more easily define the different monster types. But for now, this guy cannot jump, only walk. We don't need a random thing. The direction though is gonna be, I guess, random because, well, or is it gonna be random, or is it like always gonna be the same direction? Let's keep it random for now and we'll see. Okay. And then it's actually not gonna end the walking. Well, it is gonna end, but it's not gonna end. I guess this could be nullable, so that we can set that. Oops. We could set this to null, and we don't need to specify it. So that means that it will do it forever, basically. Okay. And we don't need t, but let's keep it the same like interface. Anyway, it's not a member function. Oh, this needs to be like that. And then we also have the last one, which also, it's sort of the same thing here actually. It's gonna have the same thing there. So I guess this could be some like a almost default idle state or something, but it's gonna have the same there. Okay. All right, so next issue here. Oh yeah, so now this could be nullable. So what we could do is, if we say this, we got that, okay. Then we have an if, and at is less than or equal to t, we do this. Otherwise, we do that. But we also want to get there in this branch as well, so I think, yeah, because this is when it's not ending, we simply want to move the monster. I guess we could return maybe. We don't have anything else happening in here. It's just risky to do that because maybe we want to do something at the end as well. Maybe we could do like a break. Yeah, I mean you could do. See, when you add a break here, I'm not sure where this, when you break out, if it's gonna break out of the entire thing. Like, does it go into else if you break out? It probably doesn't, because you're actually going into this if, and then you don't go into the else. My idea was that I want to go into this else in both end of this and the end of this. Maybe we can add a, could you do this? we can break out of this block. Okay. So here, if we get in here, we actually do a break. But otherwise, okay, this is not how I'm used to program these things. Oh wait, we break this one. Wait, but does that mean it's gonna break out and continue down here, or does it mean it's gonna break out of the switch? I don't know, man. It's attached here, so what does break do here actually? Does it just go out of the... Okay, I think I need to look this up. Sig switch case break. So does it fall through or does it exit the entire switch? Is the question. Okay. So it seems from what I'm reading that there is no case fall through, which means you are breaking from the entire switch, which is what I want to do. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna trust this source that I just read here and continue on. So, okay. The break here will apparently break out of the entire switch. Otherwise, we will see some funky stuff. Well, actually, we don't, since... Wait. This switch goes into state... Wait, what's... Oh, okay. So this switch, this outer switch is for the current state. And then here we are checking the state because now we are... Wait. Yeah, we're idle or walking. And we're not trying to start an attack. So we're checking, are we ending the idle or are we ending the walk? Right. So then this is gonna break out of this switch, which will, yeah, continue on. Okay, so anyway, but basically what I want is the crux here is that I like the way SIG handles nullables, and I also don't like how it handles nullables. I wish there was some more utility with this. So I wish that you could basically have this if in like two. I mean, I guess no. Like this is kind of what I want to have. This should be the same thing, right? What? Why does that need an... Okay. I'm not sure about this syntax here, but anyway, this is kind of what I want. But the thing is, if this if fails, it goes out here. Like if you have an else here, which else is this pointing to? Is it pointing to both of these ifs? No, it can't. It usually it doesn't, you know, in program languages. But it's like it's ambiguous now, I think. I would say it's the inner if, because that's the one that's actually being like parsed here, and then it's gonna parse and it's gonna parse an else, so that's gonna be connected to this inner if, you know. And then if you have another else, oh, so okay, this is confusing to me. Oh, because now this outer if is an expression because it doesn't have, well, a block here, I guess. Okay, so then you don't need, but then if you have an else, it doesn't count as. So if you do this, you have to have a statement, but if you end in a block, you don't have to have a statement. Okay. Well, you can see here, this is the inner if, and this is the outer if. But I really want to both of these cases to be the same, go into another block. But I don't think you can do that with if statements. So I want to do a break here if both of these things are true. If both of these things are true, I want to break out and have this. I mean, and this is really, I think for me, it's very convoluted and not that easy to read. Especially, I mean, this is not super common pattern here. So it's going to be really confusing when you get back here later. I mean, it's just one case here, so it's probably not super. But I really want to find, you know, a better pattern. And this is, the crux is sort of this nullable, because you have to have several ifs. I want to use this syntax to get the nullable out, so we know that this type is now not nullable, so we can use that. I mean, the alternative is to do this. We check first if this is not null, and walk.end at question mark is less than or equal to t. So you could do this as well. And I think I like that better because it's, you know, you don't have to use labels, and you have one else, which, you know, now you have an if and an else. So it's a lot more clear what the intention is here and what's happening, I think. Also, it's like, I don't really mind it that much, you know, there's people that really mind this stuff, but having nested stuff is really easy to to have nested things in SIG. And I guess one solution would be to make a function that you call instead of just keep on nesting things. But well, it's not really nested. I mean, it's nested blocks basically. This switch here is inside another switch, inside an if else, you know, because basically this is a big giant state machine. So this is what it looks like. And but you know, you could factor this out into a function, you could do this into a function, whatever, to make it more sort of readable from this point of view. Yeah. Maybe we should do that actually. Guess, yeah. But anyway. Yeah, it's also sort of hard to read, you know. This is a lot of indentation here. Maybe I should change this to 2 instead of 4. But I don't like 2. It's too small of a change to notice. Yeah. Okay, whatever. Let's just keep on going here. I might change. I might refactor this in my spare time, and or yeah, in off stream. The problem with refactoring into different functions, though, is that each thing that you have to pass in is going to be It's gonna be a lot of things probably we need to pass in as well. Well, we'll see. Maybe not. Maybe we're lucky here. You could pass in a couple of common stuff and then grab the rest of the things in the function. Okay, but anyway, yeah, so you look at this. The indentation is like in the center of the screen now. I mean, it's partly because I'm also zoomed in a little bit, but yeah. Still, it's not good. Okay. I mean, it gets harder to read and stuff. So anyway, where were we? Yes, we were looking at, so end at is now nullable, so we are checking if it's not equal to null and if it ends at this. Maybe I should refactor it now because it's gonna be like way easier for you guys to actually see maybe what's going on as well. Maybe I'll only move this one in actually. So this one would be like update idle walk. Yeah. And let's put that in a function. Oops. Okay. And then we need entity. What would we need? View, registry. Let's grab the view as well, I guess. No, this one. Yeah, it's just a norm. It's a multi-view. Wait. I mean, we don't really need the view. We can do it with the registry. I'm not sure what the difference is. I don't know if this is more like efficient to get the rigid body from this view, or this is just the same. Like I would guess it's just the same, since it should be like a really fast lookup. But I'm not sure. Okay, and the player body, we don't have the player body, so that's something that is like I guess, well, it's gonna be a pointer, right? Okay, also monster AI, also pointer, and T. Yeah. Now let's do this. No. All right. Yeah, it doesn't even need to be. Yeah. Okay. So now we're going down here, and you know everything is now a lot easier to look at. Okay. And there's a lot of things happening in this function as well, so it's nice to actually have it in a separate thing. Okay. Yes. So as long as this walking is, if it's null, then we keep on doing this. But we need to introduce some new behavior, which is like the monster should, well, some monster should turn around once you hit a ledge or a wall, or maybe even the player as well. We'll see. All right. Yeah, we should do for jumping or attack. Okay. Let's see, where else do we have an issue? Here we have, right, the hitbox. So I think we could actually, so now we're moving the hitbox to this, to the type. So I think what we could do is we could add, well, we can add the function here, hitbox, and this would return this one, and we will return a switch on self. And I think this one we just do inline else, and we return that. Now this means we need to, so the inline else is kind of interesting. It sort of expands, I believe, since all inline behavior does is inline 4 and stuff. It expands all of the cases that exists, and it access, and this one is now like a generic sort of type that has all of the types. So we don't really know what type it is, but it's one of the monster types. But if each one has hitbox defined, then you're fine to actually access hitbox like this. So now we just need to define hitbox for all of these things. So Mossing has an hitbox and Stening has an hitbox. So we can do this, and we need to modify those hitboxes, but now we should have, this should actually return whatever hitbox you are gonna need. And hello Blue Wolf, what's up? How's it going? Welcome to the stream. So we can add this function here for hitbox. I guess we could call it like get hitbox. And this would be return a rectangle. Yeah, okay. So now we can call get hitbox. Oh. We need to grab the actual monster AI component here. Get monster AI component from the entity. Okay. Then we go back here, and now we can do this. Yeah. Not sure why I don't get like what's it called? LSP, like the syntax highlighting for the methods, or it's usually yellow. Okay, I'm gonna stop mentioning LSP problems because it's very prevalent, and we're gonna spend a lot of time doing that instead of actually working. So hopefully that clears up when you when we switch to 0.14. All right, so one second here. All right. Okay. Where's the issues now? Hitbox. Yeah, so now we can do get hitbox. Wait. What's happening? Oh, it needs a right. Okay. Wait, can we do this is the question. Okay, so that seems to work. So you can infer what type it is and then grab the hitbox out because it's gonna spread this out, and whatever, it's gonna know which type it is in each branch. Okay, cool. So yeah, so the issue there was when we tried to do this. This would work if this is a field, but it's not a field, it's a declaration on this type. And how you would access that is you would say the type dot hitbox and not like an instance of the type. So if we go back here, this is an instance of the type, but if we can make it into the type by you doing this, and now we get the hitbox. Since the hitbox is like, it's static, so we have it as a declaration there instead. Okay. Yes. Okay. I mean, and then if you would want it to be more, you could, I mean, this is how we have it right now. I guess if you want it to not be static, well, that's gonna have to be a separate issue, but anyway. So no more like compile errors. I'm just gonna check and see if we can run this now, and you will also see some of the updates that I've been doing to the monster. And I should change the spawn position as well. Oh, and I also have the debugging mode on here, so let's just remove that. And then I want to go to main, and I want to change this to forest entrance. Now we're gonna spawn at where the monsters are as well. Oh yeah, I'm not actually sure if I showed you the dialogue, new dialogues. I'll do that as soon. And there you can see sort of the new spawning, and also a little bit of when you hit, there's like this magical sort of texture or like magic sort of coming out of the monsters when you hit them as well, because they are magical creatures that releases sort of their magic. Okay. But anyway, it seems to work fine. So yeah, I'll show you also the dialogues. So I've added sound, and so we have sound, we have, I'm not sure if I showed the icons, maybe I did. We have sound on the text, and we also have animation on the text, and the person actually talks. It moves the mouth up and down, does the talking animation basically, as the same like when when the text is animating. And now you can skip text also like this. Oh, I just see a bug there. He continues talking when you do that. Okay, so that's we need to fix that. Well, did the cameras? Okay, so the camera still has problems with being snappy. Okay, we need to fix that as well. And here's another person here. And we also have like menu sounds when you select things, and cancel sound. The quest log or the menu also has like a sound. You accept the quest. We don't have sound for notifications, but could add that well. And there you go, you can select this one and cancel out. Okay, but anyway, now let's see. So yes, we need to. So I think first of all we want to add the new monster type, and oh yeah, we should also. This means, yeah, we need to also extend the editor to be able to add the new types as well. But let's start here and yes, we'll go here. So we basically, I think we just copy this, okay, and then have this mossing. Let's just rename this entity. Doesn't have to be named the same as the thing. And here we can do switch on entity type. If it is clear, then we do this. Wait. Oh yeah. No, we're not gonna have scale. It's the scale is it's not gonna happen. So we're gonna do this, and this is gonna be entity position. Okay. And then else we don't do anything. So we have to add a new type here. Okay. But we don't have the new type yet. We need to add that in the editor. But this type is over here, and we add this one here. So now we have basically support for the new type from the editor. But we also need to create it in the correct way. So let's go to this part. So we'll add a new instance here, and this will be missing. Oh yeah, also I need to import my animations. There we go. Let's also add the other one while we're here. So we have it. Okay, that's it. Now this one is mossing instead. And this one should be that. Oh yeah, we also need to add the texture. Let's do it here. And this. Alright. So now we have the texture as well. We have the spawn texture. Or animation, I mean. And this one is that. I could actually just get this from get animation container instance from entity. So now we have that, so we can actually do say now animations that get spawn instead. Okay. And the type is now mossing. All right. And damage on touch, shield blocks false. Yes. That should be correct. We're adding the texture, the health component, so they're gonna have less health. They're gonna have like, I don't know, 3 maybe. And death settings. I'm gonna have the same, this is the sound, I think, the sound key. I'm gonna have the same sound as Cleat. This is, what is that? The duration. So I would have to go in and look up the duration of that. Now why would we actually need to have the duration? Because we should just look at the animation, I think. I mean, it could be if we don't have an actual animation, or if it's not set yet. But we do have the animation from death settings, so yeah. Oh, but we don't have the instance, so we don't know if we've messed with the duration or not. But it's still we should really be able to derive from the animation the duration instead of having it here. I think I'll do that instead. Let's remove this. Okay, because we already have the animation here. We can just say death time. No, this is the death settings. If we have death settings, then this is gonna be, yes, can you please death animation, get total duration. Okay, and now let's go back here, and we have, we don't need to specify this 3 seconds. Yeah, this is for the player, that's right. So maybe we do want to have a well, actually we could set that on the actual animation and instead. Let's do that. Yeah, so let's just remove these. And that. Okay. Now I'm gonna go into the animation just while we are looking at this. Okay, and this one. Yeah, that should be fine. We're just using the same duration as the actual animation anyway. Where's death? Wait, we don't have one. Wait, game. Oh. Player. I know I have the animation studio up there, but I just want to check. Oh. What the hell? Okay, let's add an animation here called death. And it's gonna be this one. Wait, the X is 16. There we go. And the duration is gonna be 3 seconds. Okay, there we go. Now we can import that. And now we have a death animation for the player. Okay, so we didn't actually use the death animation for the player. That was really weird. It used like the monsters animation, that was strange. Okay, but anyway, now that should be fine. And let's go back to mossing, our new monster type. So death is now complete. We don't have a specific sound for the death here, but we can use the same. Yeah, that should be fine. Horizontal direction is fine. Physics. Yeah. And that should all be fine. Yeah. And the hitbox is generic as well. So yeah. That's should be it, what you need to do to initialize the monster. We could break out what's different and put that in a function, so we could have like init monster and just copy. I think we'll copy all this and we'll copy this into here, and then whatever is different we will do that. And we can actually return the entity at the end as well, so if you want to add more things, more like components to it, we could do that as well. Alright, now we need this one, so animation instance or container. Animation container instance. Alright, so we'll add that. Wait, not a pointer. Okay, and I don't think, yeah, we don't need this because we're gonna use the instance instead. Okay. Now what else needs to be generic here? The texture. So we need the texture. This is, yeah, that's just returning. Let's have the texture here. There. So that's gonna be the texture. All monsters gonna have a spawn animation, so I'll just keep that. I mean, you could have this like as an initial animation, but I'll just keep that as a generic thing. Set animation, that should be fine. This one though, we need the monster type, which we have there. And we will pass that in there. Yeah, damage. So these things should be like different for each monster. But I mean, I guess pretty much everyone is gonna have this damage on touch. However, the damage itself may be different. I'll just keep this as a default for now. The health component though, we will just put in here like max health. Wait, this is, let's see if it's float or no, it's U32. It could actually be float as well. So you could have more granularity there. So the 3 there is going to be max health. Death settings, pretty sure we're just going to default to death. And then the sound, we can just keep this for now, and we can change that later. Draw is fine, this is fine. Physics is fine, monster group or the physical collision group is fine. The position we don't have, and all of these other things should be generic. So we just need to define the position. Let's have that at the end. All right. So this is going to be init monster. The texture is going to be this one, right? Instance. This is going to be an issue container dot missing. Monster type is going to be missing health 3. Oops. Position we get from there. Okay. Okay. So now this is all we need for a new type of monster. Let's put. Wait, this is my monster. Yeah, so now we need cleat. So, I mean, it's going to be the same thing here. Oops. And this is cleat, this is cleat, and this is cleat, and this is cleat. There. And yeah, the health also. Okay, cool. So I guess we could do the same with staining as well, but let's start with mossing. So now we should have the monster being able to be spawned. The behavior is not yet fully implemented, but what we need to do now is we need to go into our editor code and we need to find whatever we have. Yeah, here we have entities, and we need to add this as an entity. Let's also add this guy as well, and then we add these things. Monsters. There we go. Alright, and we have a bunch of places where we need to fix now. So let's add that. Clone. Don't have anything to clone. Switch here, get size. Oh yeah. I'm just gonna copy this for now. I know that. Well, I need to check this actually. This guy is, I think, yeah, 32 by 32. This guy is also 32 by 32. Yeah. So they both are 32 by 32, so that's fine. And then we have this one, draw entity. So we just copy this. And yeah, that's all the same stuff here. But this one is, let's see, texture instead. There. And the source we might need to change. We'll see. So this one should be texture. But we don't have that yet, so we need to add that as well. Okay. Now where are we doing that? Here. And there. Okay. Get texture from entity type. So here we also have this. We should remove this and then handle whatever else we have, which is what. Oops. I think exit entrance time up. So we don't. So we actually get this. Switch also triggered by adding new things. Okay, we don't have any more. Yeah, and here we also have this. So this should be the same thing here, really. We should do this. Yeah. Because now, when we save, whoops, we are gonna get an issue here. So, well, I can just copy this and this. Oh wait, are we actually not using this? Interesting. So down here, when we get the source, we actually don't use that. We should just use that function. Get source. Instead of defining it here. Actually, we need to do it. So is this going to be the same for each one? Destination. So this should be the same size as the source, right? Source width, right? And origin. Well, it's going to be source over 2. Yeah. The only thing that's different is the texture. So we could wait, the texture we also have for the texture as well. We could just do texture self get texture. So now we can just say texture here. So now this is like generic for all of the entities basically. So let's do this. Oops. Scene, we have streaming, we have player, we have NPC. Yeah. There we go. Nice. And I'm just gonna double check here the source rectangle. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay. Now we should actually have those things. The only thing is this one, which is like, is this actually gonna be the correct source? The correct source for these things, but we'll see. So now we should be able to start this up, I hope, and see if we can add these new entities now. let's go in here and change this. Okay. We don't see them here though. Let's go here. Right. We need to add it here as well. Okay. Right, so we're inline foring all of these, and then we're switching on the tag. This is a bit convoluted, but it feels like we're doing double work here, but I'm not gonna bother with this right now. Okay, now we have these new monsters here. So let's add one of these. It's kind of the point that it's sort of trying to, how do you say it? Let's remove you. It's trying to be a part of the background, almost. But let's add this here. And I guess we can add one over here as well. And we will save that. And yeah, we can just play from here. Hopefully. Nothing has broken here. And there you can see we have these sort of mossy things sticking out of the ground, which is we're gonna have all over the map, so you're not gonna be able to see them, but then they will like sort of rise up and start moving as monsters. There you can see it. Oh, okay. We crashed. Interesting. So, well, one thing that I want to do, I want to remove this guy. Okay. And then let's go to the game code. So let's start and see what went wrong here. Okay, so I think maybe because they don't have a hurt animation, maybe that's the issue. Yeah. Wait, but we don't do the hurt animation here now. Also, this should be protected like this. Is that why it happened? I wonder. Oh, wait, but yeah, this is the wrong. No, because we are spawning a new entity, that's right. So this should be fine, I guess. Yeah. But here we get the monster animation. What are we doing with that? Current texture take. Oh, I see. See, that's actually wrong here. We're spawning hurt and particles. We don't really have hurt particles for this monster. So I guess we could do like we could add that. Don't need the container. We could make this like a generic thing that all monsters should have. We don't really have that right now though. Let's see if I could just add one real quick here. So this would be missing. Because we do have animation for the death animation, so we could just use like the last two maybe for that. Or 3 or something. Hit particles. Well, no, this needs to be 64 by 64. There. And let's import that. And yeah. Now we don't have anything clear now. Cool. Alright, now let's see if that works better. No? Still crash. Okay, let's actually look at this error that we're getting. So unreachable code. Okay, we're trying to get the animation container instance. Oh, singletons. Oh no, this is get, and then this is the entity. Yeah. Okay, so we're seeing the animation being spawned there, so that's good. But there's something else going wrong. Oh. Okay. This might be, I just stumbled across this now, but this might be a clue why the font looks weird. So we might look into that. I might just test a bunch of different sizes and see what works. Again, reach unreachable code. Get animation. Okay, so it's trying to get some animation which it doesn't find. Attack low. Right, so it's doing a behavior that it's not supposed to be doing. Right, so this is why. Yeah. It's trying to do this. So let's just limit this to the first monster for now. So this would be monster AI.type is equal to create. Okay. So now both those things are only specific for that. And let's also see if we have anything else here. We have hurt, which we are not going in. Well, we might go into that actually. We don't want to walk towards player. Well, if we're hunting, we might do that. Set idle. So I don't think we ever go into hurt state though, right, anymore. But that's, we're keeping that. We don't have. We're never going into attack mode with this monster. We're never gonna jump with this monster. We are doing this, but it's one we already updated. This one is already, we can see it working. And this one also is working as it should. So, yeah. The only gripe I have with this spawning mechanism is that it takes too long, basically, for the monster to actually spawn in. Maybe it should activate farther away. Or the spawn or the spawning is gonna be like larger. But here you can see, yeah. The new monster sort of. But we also wanna do it so that they should be walking like left or right on the ledge. They shouldn't be like going. I still can get hurt. So yeah, so let's do like the ledge thing. So it needs to, when the monster gets to an edge, it's gonna be in here when we're actually walking. And it's gonna be in here when we are deciding to update the walk. The idle, we're not doing that, we're doing walk. And we are like constantly walking. So I think we might just add like a bool here which says when you reach a ledge or an edge, like either ledge or a wall, we wanna turn around and move the other way. But let's actually let's add this if then, or this thing here. Turns around when blocked, I guess. Well, technically you're not blocked at the edge. When blocked or when or edge or at ledge. Okay, I don't know what to call this, but it's basically gonna be this very specific thing for this guy. Maybe I should move that to an actual, maybe I should have an if that's looking at the type of monster instead of having this thing. Where did I end up now? I need to go down here. Yeah, let's actually do that instead. Let's do, because one thing of having these bools and stuff as well, they are sort of, you can change them for a specific instance of a monster as well, which doesn't really make sense. All, like one monster type should only behave in one way, basically. But anyway, where are we here? So yeah, we're walking in this direction. But here we also want to now check if we are at either the edge. So we'll do switch on monster AI type. And so this will be this guy. I think this guy will also have this sort of behavior, so I'll add that as well. And then this guy will do nothing. And then break out here, and then but these guys, we're gonna basically, I think we'll change the direction depending on this condition. So how would we now detect this? So I think in when you have like a normal or like a, I don't know, any physics system out there, you can do what's called a ray cast, I think it's called. Or yeah, you're casting a ray out and see if you hit something. It's basically like detecting if there's something in the way. And I don't think I have that in my engine. Well, I know I don't have that in my engine, but maybe I could add that actually. That would be something nice to add, to have. But I need to actually go and look up how we can do that. I mean, what I have in my physics engine right now is a bunch of bodies, so and they have like a size, and right now they can have like very specific types of size, or specific types of they could be like any sort of, I guess, polygon or whatever, but right now in the game they're just gonna be like, you know, squares, or not squares, rectangles. So they're very easy to detect collision with and stuff like that. I do have a quad tree that I'm checking for collision with, so I'm building a quad tree each frame and it's checking collisions, and we can use that to look for I mean, one way to cast a array, I guess, would be to actually, we could do that. We could define a ray to cast, but this ray is not really a line. It's going to be more a rectangle that's sort of aligned with the axis of the plane. So it's like, it's just going to be a non-rotated rectangle. It's not really a ray, but that's not really what we need. Well, we need a just a straight line that's going either to the left or right, depending on the direction. So actually, let's make a vector, which is like the vector that we want to detect if we're bumping into something, or if we're at the ledge. So let's do bump vector first. So do we have the monster body here? So let's do monster. What we could do, we could check if the direction is left, then we're gonna grab the left side Now this is X. So let's do center left. This is now the vector that is center left. And well, it's a position. So it's the position. Yeah. And then otherwise we're gonna grab the center right. Okay, so now this one is either to the left or right depending on the direction of the monster, and we can simply add a little bit. Let's add like I don't know, 10%. So it goes out a little bit out of the monster sort of body there. Okay, now 10% might be too much, but we can just fine tune it later as well if you want. So now I want to create a rectangle that we need. So bump rectangle. So this we will use ABB here, and it's going to do from center bump B. So that's the center point of where we want to check for collisions, and the size is going to be sort of a vertical slice. So I'm going to take 1 pixel in width. We don't really need to check more than that. And then we're gonna take the monster body height there as the Y. So it's gonna check for the whole monster body height. So that should make us a rectangle that is directly, it's the same height as the monster, and it's just moved slightly beside the monster, and 1 pixel in width in the direction that the monster is like moving. And then we just need to check for intersections here, and we're gonna check for this one. We do need a physics system. Okay, so now we have the intersections. We need to defer that, freeing that. We need the allocator. Okay. So now we're grabbing the intersection. We need to loop through those. And we need to check. Oops. No, not player. Yeah, we're getting an entity from the intersection. And I guess we should check now if the the entry. So the entry is entry is the rigid body. So I want to check if this is static and solid. Maybe we should check if it's part of the ground groups, collision groups. Is collision enabled for? Yeah. So we're gonna check if it's enabled for this entity. And I have naming collision here. So this is the entity B, I guess we could call it. Which means that it's a solid. This means that it should be a solid sort of surface for this monster. So if it's enabled for those two, it means that we've reached a solid surface. So we need to change our direction. So we'll go into direction. And we'll say that this guy is going to be the opposite now. Maybe it should be like a toggle. Yeah, this just returns that. Okay. So now we're setting the direction to be opposite. And then we can break. So we're breaking out of the forest. We don't need to do anything else. Okay. Now, if we don't actually find anything here, we can do an else. And now we have to check for ledges as well. So we have to do basically the same thing. Except now, it's beginning a bit much in here. Need an extra there. But now this is a ledge vector and a ledge rectangle. And we don't need to grab these because we already have those. Now this, I guess we could call this ledge intersections now instead. Okay. So basically we want to do the same thing, except if we find something, well, we need to change where we're looking also. But if we find nothing, then we change the direction. But if we do find something here, wait, yeah, yeah. So if we find something, that means we have ground, because remember we're reaching this point when we know there's nothing in front of the monster, but it could still be something below the monster. So we actually have to add here a little bit of y. We'll add 1y, which moves it down, yeah, to look for ledges or lack of ledges. Well, yeah, ledges and lack of ledges again. Okay, anyway, so we're looking for all the intersections. Let's see. So if we never found anything. If we find a collision we want to break, but we don't want to set this, we only want to set this in the case where we didn't find anything. There we go. And remember, we only get in here, as I said before, when we don't have any solid object in front of us that we're gonna move. So when we're checking now for one below us, we should only be detecting the ground below us, and not something like in front of us that's a something solid there. So hopefully now this should have the effect that what? Oh, I think you need to do this. Yeah, I should really have like a toggle maybe instead. Set to opposite. No, this is horizontal, so this is alright, and then this would be set to opposite. Okay. Okay, so now we're using the quad tree and collision detection to actually look for ledges and for other solid objects. All right. But this sort of also means that you could have, for example, if, well, now the player doesn't really collide with the monster in this way, so this won't trigger for the player and the monster. But I mean, if it did, this code would technically be like the monster could sort of ride on top of the player's head or something like that if you had that. But we don't have collision between monsters and, or we don't resolve collisions between monsters and the player, so they don't like physically collide in that way. We're just detecting if they collide so we can hurt the player. So now let's see if this works. No. It just moves on his merry way there. Great. Oh, what's this? We're moving. Oh, I see. We need to okay, we need to change the walk direction and not the monster direction here in this case. And wait, oh, it's not actually okay. Well, okay, whatever. Let's do that. I mean, I guess we could add this to this as well. It's not really this super important here. But okay. Opposite. I guess this could be. This could also have an opposite, which returns self direction. So actually, this one's kind of yeah, and then this will be self but opposite. Okay, so now we can say set text. Yeah. And now this one needs to be a pointer or mutable. Type directions. There. Yeah, and here's like when you need to set something that is like immutable, but you need to set itself to something else. You need to you need to set the contents of this pointer to whatever you wanna set it to, because otherwise if you do this, it's gonna set this as a pointer, sort of local pointer variable, but this is like setting the contents of this pointer. So that's what you need to do. Okay. Let's see how they... Oh. Okay, well, something happened at least. It looks like it's always changing the direction now. Okay. Maybe we should maybe we should like make it the height a little bit smaller so that it doesn't accidentally like always find the edge of the ground. Okay, no, still an issue there. So okay, let's go through this again. So we are basically expanding this, taking the left. If the direction is left, we're taking the left. If the direction is right, we're taking the right. We are offsetting a little bit as well. And then we're taking the rectangle, which has that as a center point. And then the size is 1 pixel wide, and the height of the body scaled down a little bit. Then we're checking for intersections of this rectangle. We are checking if we... So we should... So let's say we're not finding anything. We should be getting into this else here and looking for ledges now. And we're looking for ledges, and this one is looking at the same place, but we moved it down 1 pixel. And here, wait, this scalar should actually be yeah, this is kind of weird. We should actually do only X here. Wait, we should do X. We shouldn't scale Y, we should only scale X. So let's do that. Whoops. Yeah. There we go. Okay, but then we're moving it down. Okay, let's just try if that actually fixed it, because that might have screwed up the calculation there. Okay. Okay, so it's like moving all the way. Something feels weird with this now. Is it like the other way around? Yeah, it feels like the ledge, it's a ledge problem. So it would be nice if we could visualize where this is ending up. I mean, we can, but I'm gonna have to wire this up into the draw function and make these calculations available in like a function or something, which we could do. But I'm just gonna scan through a little bit more here. So this should be the same as the other one. We're taking, so the left and the right, our scaling the X component, we are adding 1 to Y. And we are making a rectangle that has the height there. This shouldn't need to have like the height of the monster, but it doesn't really matter that much. I mean, it's either that we have the height of the monster or we can move it downwards, the height of the monster instead. We're not using center, we can use like bottom left instead. Bottom left and bottom right. I guess we could do that. Yeah, it doesn't really matter though, I don't think. And then we're checking all intersections. If we find something that blocks, we don't want to switch direction. If we don't find anything that blocks, we do want to switch direction. And then in the end, we are setting the monster direction to the new walk direction. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna actually create a function for this. So let's take these two and we'll move them to the mossing type here. Ledge V. We actually need a couple of things in here. Ledge R. I guess it's enough with this one. Okay, and this is my ABB. And then what we need the monster direction. We need the monster body. And I guess we can make this into. And then, yeah, let's just return this. All right. And very important also, I want to go back here and I want to actually grab this from this. Oh, actually we can do monster type crossing and ledge are like this. Body, direction, there we go. And we can remove this now, so we don't like end up with two different versions here. Okay, now, yeah, so now we can go back to the game thing. We are gonna say well, I'm just gonna put this here, draw ledge, like debug ledge boxes or whatever, and I can edit that down here. Okay, so let's actually do this. I'm not gonna switch on state, we're gonna switch on type. And if we are this type, then we do something, otherwise we do. Okay. So, what do we want to do? Well, we want an ABB and we want to draw that. And we also need the body and the direction. Yeah, it's basically the same setup. Body, direction. There we go. Now let's run this and see where this ends up. Okay, and there you can clearly see it's even offsetting a little bit weirdly. Okay, yeah, it's like the absolute. Okay, yeah, I think what's the issue is. The issue is sort of, yeah, this AABB, the center left and center right is not like relative to the monster center. It's actually a world position, it's not local. So I'm actually I was operating under the assumption that this was local in this instance, but then actually here I'm operating under the assumption that it's absolute. So a little bit miss there. So what we need to do, we could I mean, what we could do actually, we could get rid of this offset and then we set the width to 3 instead, because that will extend 1 pixel to the left. So we will check for collisions to the left now. Or I mean, yeah, the width will have enough width. The rectangle will have enough width so that it will extend beyond the monster, I guess. Well, actually, it doesn't really need to have 3. It could just as well have like 1. I guess it doesn't really matter. It's on the edge of the monster's rectangle anyway, so any width would check correctly, I think. 1 is probably better. It depends on when you want the monster to be turning around, if you want to offset it a little bit more. Okay, there you go. Now you can see it's probably a lot better. There you can see it's changing the direction. Yeah. It's looking for ledges or for places where it can turn, and now it's turning when it finds a ledge there. Okay, cool. Right, so let's also have, So this one is like ledge. Let's call it like a ledge ray, or I don't know what we can call it, but let's have one for the other one as well. So let's have like a block, or maybe and this one is this bump. Yeah, and let's call it block because it's sort of blocking the thing. Anyway, so we'll return this. We'll see what we need to do here. Yeah, we're not gonna escape this. We're simply gonna, you know, do this. We are scaling the height here a little bit, so we don't always get blocked. Yeah. And now we can go to game. We can change this to block now to see what that ends up being. Also, we need to go back. Where is it? The bump V here. Now we can say block R is these things. There we go. But now we need to say instead. Okay. Okay, now we should see the block rectangle instead. And there you can see it's not going into the ground, instead it's checking for... Yeah. You can knock them. I guess you can try and knock them off the ledge. Maybe. Yeah, I mean it's possible. Okay. Maybe they are getting knocked back a bit too far. We'll see. All that can be like fine-tuned. I think they are sort of... The knockback strength is maybe a bit too much. Let's lower it a little bit. Okay, let's try it also. Okay, it's a little bit better. Okay. Well, anyway, cool. So let's go in here and we'll disable this now. And we can go in and get a feel for these monsters a little bit more. It would be cool if we sort of designed the level to have these monsters like hiding in the other, among the other moss. So if we go to the editor and we go to the time map mode, so here we can just start to add a bunch of moss here, and we are in the background. Yeah, just checking the layer. Oops. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. Okay, so we have a bunch of moss. Let's also add these guys. Actually, shouldn't this be in the foreground? Nah, I don't know. Whatever. We'll try different things. I'll just quickly add this here. And we also have this. Okay. And if we go to the scene editor, so now it's kind of hard to see. They kind of blend in now in the background. But my idea is that they should be sort of part of, almost part of the tile map, so that you cannot actually distinguish them from normal tiles. And when you approach them, they might not even spawn. So my idea is that it's going to be sort of a little bit random, maybe, so that you're always on edge. You don't really know which of these sort of background things are going to come alive and start attacking you. I'm not sure if that's a good gameplay wise, but yeah. So for example, this one, we could place it there, and also this one we could place similarly, like over maybe there. I don't know really where it should be, but something like this, and then it's like indistinguishable from the thing itself. So if I remove that, you can see now it's an empty space there. Let's remove that to get an empty space there, and we go to the scene editor, and you can see that there's a little bit of space there. So let's move this guy, whoops, like that. Okay, and now it's like, well, okay, the gravity at the start makes them fall down there a little bit, and also the hitbox kind of makes them fall down into the ground a little bit. The origin, I have not set the origin correctly here, but you can see how they kind of melt into the environment and come alive, and you sort of kill almost part of the tile or of the tile map instead of the thing. Now these guys don't actually spawn out of normal sort of tile map stuff, but I guess that's okay too. Okay. Cool. But now we have a different type of monster, so that's like a long time coming here. I guess we can actually go in here and yeah, in Swedish we say bocka av, but it's tick. We can check these off here. I almost spoke Swedish there, so that's why I said that. Yeah, and this one seems to work. We haven't tried the wall yet. Damaged by player. I wonder what I meant by that, but I think that should be good. And death we have as well, and AI is complete. So this one should be done. We're just gonna test the wall thing. So let's go into the scene editor and add a wall somewhere, or we can just add a monster down here. Let's go to, yeah, I need to fix the where you end up also, like when you switch editors, like the offset is different. Okay, now we have a monster down there, so let's see if the monster actually turns around when it reaches the edge. Yeah, that also works. Okay, cool. Maybe it should be a little bit faster though. Let's actually increase the speed a little bit. Yeah, the speed should be like different depending on the monster as well. Let's do like a walk speed. I think 300 should be good. And now this one is gonna conflict. No? Okay. So you can shadow declarations, I guess. Okay. I'm not understanding the shadowing stuff with Zig yet, but I thought it was like strictly forbidden to shadow stuff, but apparently this is a case where you can't. Because now if you say walk speed here, what do you actually mean? You have two different things, but I'm guessing it's gonna choose this one, or you can say this dot walk speed so that you know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, but anyway, yeah, so that's the walk speed. Also, yeah, we need to fix the hitbox as well, so I'm just gonna check here real quick for that. The monster is kind of all the way to the bottom, so we should, the hitbox is actually, yeah, maybe even 16, and then this one, so this is actually, this is gonna be the center. Yeah, I'll just say 8. We'll hope this is correct. Okay, yeah, that looks way better. I mean, they are pretty easy though, but they should be faster. I mean, I guess it's gonna be like the first monster anyway, so. But let's add these things here. This is 150, and then we have hunting walk speed 300. So we'll gradually add these in here. This is not gonna have hunting walk speed. This guy is, but I wonder if this is gonna be an issue with with compilation now. I mean, I guess we could do this. We could say walk speed. There's gonna be an awful lot of these switches though. Yeah, I don't know, man. Let's see, so where are we gonna go? So let's just search for this. Here we go. If we're hunting, we do hunting walk speed, otherwise we do walk speed. And what type of, what, so it's like if we do have the type here. But okay, maybe we should just make it, maybe we should make it a function instead of a declaration. It's just easier. Or a property. I mean a I mean, or another way you could do it as well is in this sort of thing here, we actually have the type of the monster. So we could grab the type out and say the speed. So we could say the speed is going to be this. And we'll grab the type out here. Okay, I don't think this will work actually, because this is both of these here. Should this be like, can you inline this stuff? I don't know. I don't think this will work, but also we need to like break. No, this is, I don't like this. maybe we can do this. And we have this default thing, 0. And if it's on one of these, we should probably break this out into a function. Yeah. Update ledge or block turn, I guess. Oops. No. Okay. Yeah. Master body. Master direction. Let's grab the registry. We need entity. We need walk, which is the walk state. No. Why is that not working? There we go. Do we need anything else here? I don't think so. Okay, so we need that, we need this, we need walk, we need monster body, monster direction. Yeah. Now this one should probably be like this. Okay. Right. Because now we can say I have this type or I have this type. We copy this, just the same. And then here we can say speed equals walk speed. Yeah. Which is, well, it's gonna be type of this actually, I guess. But now it doesn't know what it is. T. Oh. Okay, empty. Monster type. So the LSP says that we can actually access this, but the compiler complained before when we did something similar. Okay, weird. Well, maybe it will complain in the end. Okay, and then for this guy, we're gonna say this. And you actually have a hunting speed and a normal speed there. Oh, there we go. Yeah, here we go. This doesn't work, so let's do type of and type of. So we get those declarations there instead. No field named hunting walk speed. Oh, yeah, so this is also type of and type of. Okay, so now the speed is set. in all of these switches cases. Move is the force. Move force. And we got the direction as well. Well, this direction is like used for animations and logic. The direction, the desired, like the intentional, direction, the intended direction that the monster wants to go is not necessarily the same as the current like velocity of the monster. So you need like a separate state for that. Okay, so yeah, now this should be like different for each type of monster. Now we have different walk speeds. So let's try this out. Okay, yeah, now they are quicker and we need to be a bit more careful. Also, the spawning animation is a bit weird. Oh yeah, probably because I actually set the spawning animation to be a little bit weird. I have this last frame in like 10 times, but it should really be the same, I think. Yeah. Probably the same for the other monster as well. Let's double check that. Yeah, it like lingers a little bit on the last frame. I don't want to have that. It's gonna like spawn in quickly and that's fine. Yeah. Okay. I'm just trying to get a little feel for, like, if you know the monsters are there, you can simply just run and hurt them like that. Well, okay, cool. So actually we have added this new monster, and we've also worked on, you know, generalizing the monster AI a bit, which, so now both of the monsters are actually using like the same logic for the most part, but then they are separate in their different like capabilities and behavior and stuff. Cool. So now, yeah, we have another monster also that we can add. However, I'm going to take, well, I need to eat something, so I need to figure out something here. 1 second. I think I'll just order something here. 1 second. There we go. Okay. Alright, so we have another monster which is gonna be a bit more involved or complex. It's not really that complex, but it's like it's basically the same thing, but it's gonna have an attack as well. So it's gonna have like a stun attack, or I mean a jumping attack, and it's also gonna have, it's gonna sort of stun itself if it misses the attack, and then you can attack it and hit it, and it's gonna be able to recover from its stunned state. And then, you know, when also if it's not stunned, it's gonna be basically invulnerable. So I think what I'll do is maybe make it vulnerable or invulnerable when it's not stunned, basically. But I was thinking if I would make it invulnerable when it's jumping, but I don't think I want to do that. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, we can simply add this as the same way we did the other one. So actually I think we can start, yeah, we can start at the editor stage now. Why? Okay, and let's remove this guy. Actually, I don't think we're gonna have these guys in here. Maybe one of those, but we are gonna have a lot of these guys, I guess. No, not there, then you're gonna get ambushed when you enter. But you could have them up here. Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of the easy, you know, going back and forth monsters. And then one of these guys, which will kind of fun to design. This sort of dungeon almost here. Okay, but anyway, then you have these guys. They are not probably not gonna be in the beginning of the game, but I do want to have this here so I can test this guy. Maybe we should have him in actually in the village. Well, let's test it. Let's remove this guy so we can have this monster here. Okay, so now we have them. Now we have this guy in the actual sort of map. So now let's go to our game code, and we need to actually add all the things we need for that. So I think we did add, yeah, so we have the texture. We don't have this, and we don't have it here, so we need to add it there, and we need to add this function. So we'll just copy that, and we'll just change this to this, and this to this, and this to this, and this to staying. All right, we don't have the animation code. Oh yeah, we do have the animation code. Okay, nice. But oh yeah, so we do want to also do a couple of things. So well, actually this should add it to the game, but we need to modify a few things. Yeah, there you can see it's actually spawning. Oh, yeah, but we don't have, you know, we have the same issue that we had with the other one, is we don't have the hit particles animation. Also, I'm gonna double check all the animations here. We need a spawn, which we have. We need well, death. We have death and death too. So yeah, and we can define this. We can define this later. So then we have corpse as well. But we need hit particles. So I'm gonna add a new animation. Where is that button? There. Which is called hit particles. And I don't think we really have a good graphic for that. So the idea is basically when it's upside down, you can hit it. So I guess this could be technically be a good like candidate for hit particles, but okay, let's just do this because we're lacking graphics for it right now. So I'm just gonna do this for hit particles. We're gonna save that. I'm gonna, well, we're gonna keep it that way. Maybe, I don't know. No, I don't want it to be too graphic. Let's just have one little hit going on there. Okay. Great. So let's import that. Okay. Let's try this again now. It's weird how the spawn animation looks like it. Yeah, it looks like it. Okay. This, okay, two things. The spawn animation looks a bit weird because we are the first. I put it to, yeah, again, just to be able to see it better in when you actually define this thing. And this one should also be like that. Okay, let's save that. Also, the death animation is like the last one. We don't want to have it that either. And my thought is also it like leaves this sort of rock behind when it dies. So it's gonna have a corpse. So we're gonna set the animation to be a corpse, or we're gonna just spawn like, you know, an entity that has this animation. Or we could say that the monster is basically it's gonna be disabled, or well, yeah, I guess we could just remove the monster component and other components that it doesn't need anymore. So we don't really need to create a new body and stuff for it, but we can. I mean, it's basically just gonna be a graphical thing in the background when it's done. Yeah. So, wait, did I save? Yes, I did. Okay, cool. So, import again. There you can see now it. Yeah, and the hitbox is a little bit off, so let's fix that. Go to monster, this guy, and the hitbox. Let me double check how the hitbox should be. So it's a 32 by 32 square, but the actual thing maybe go down by like, let's see. So here's the sender. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, I guess 5 is fine. And then it's like almost 30 wide, and yeah, we can fine tune this. 5 is fine, but it's gonna be a bit wider, and it's gonna be, I mean, I guess let's do 20. We'll see. Okay, that's almost perfect. I think one more I guess we'll add 2 more to get it even. Yeah. I'm not happy with the walking animation, but it's like whatever. I'm not that focused, as I've said many times. I'm not focusing on graphics very much. It's fun. It's fun to sometimes go in and be a little bit creative, you know, adding the small like magical particles and stuff. But I'm not gonna have that as a main focus right now. And if something is a little bit off, I will just go ahead and move on so that we can be productive with the game, and we'll fix a bunch of these stuff in the future, because I want to go ahead and, you know, get more monsters in, and more important is getting like a good gameplay for me right now, and yeah, focusing on that. So we're gonna have to live with a little bit of wonky graphics for now, but anyway, yeah, so the hitbox is fine now. However, now we want to do a couple of things. So let's see, we're working on this guy. We can spawn, we can do idle, I guess, and yeah, let's see. So I'm not sure if we're actually gonna have like aggroing on the player, or if it's just gonna be like if this guy is like close enough to the player, we just attack the player and not have any like different thing going on with aggroing and stuff. So yeah, so what we need to do is I want to check if it's going to attack the player. And so we do have that in our big update function here. It's basically this one, update idle walk. And we have can aggro, we have melee attack distance threshold. Maybe we should have like a generic sort of attack if here. It's like if monster type, if it's like what I'm thinking is like if should attack, and then we have the things happening in here where, you know, things should happen, and we can put in maybe player body and the monster body, and I guess the direction. Well, I guess maybe the direction doesn't matter. So that would be sort of generic function that would work for all monsters, that it would check should we attack or not. It would calculate a bunch of things, and then if we are supposed to attack, then we execute the attack with the thing. So I guess we could get this monster AI should attack, and if we get an attack type, I mean, I guess we could do this. Oops. My idea is that this function would return a attack type. So you could do this. Yeah. So it's a nullable. So it's like if it returns null, then it shouldn't. Then it's gonna go into this else here. But if it returns not null, it's gonna get the attack type out. So then you can use that. So you get some information out of this function. But I'm not sure if that's enough here. But we will see. So we get the attack. So what do we actually want to do? We're setting the animation. we are setting the state, and we have these things. So we have a lot of information that we need to actually deal with. So we have attack type, we have, you know, animation things happening. Maybe we should have, so we get should attack, we get the attack type, and then we do like, I don't know, execute attack or whatever. Attack type, which would do all of these things that are in here. My thought was that maybe we could do something that is gonna be like more generic, but probably all these attacks are gonna be pretty different. So I'm gonna, well, we'll see, but we'll do this for now, because now we have this else. That's what's important here, is because this function is sort of deciding what state should we end up in, and if we should attack, we should end up in an attack state. If we don't attack, then we should do something else. So let's, well, and this else is all of this stuff in here. So, but let's remove that, and we should make this functions here. So we should have should attack and execute attack. Let's go up to our master AI struct here. Okay, let's add this. So we have should attack, master body, master, no, player body, and we get a nullable attack type, which is also AI state attack type. Okay, so that's should attack, and then we have execute attack, and we have attack type, which is again master AI state, master attack state, attack type, and this one is void. So we'll just copy this in here, because we're gonna switch on. Let's switch on type. Wait, what's the? Wait, this is not. No, this is component. Yeah. There we go. So we're gonna switch on the type, and if it's this guy, then all of this makes sense. Well, we also want to switch on the attack type as well, and we have if it's high and low, we'll do this. Oh, we need the master direction as well. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Master direction. Player body. Sure. And master body. Let's switch those. And registry as well, okay. I wonder how many parameters you can have. There's a actual limit to that. Local constant, attack type, shadows, okay, yeah. Yeah, so this should happen in the should attack. And we'll simply, I think we'll, no. Yeah, and this would have an if this is true, we do this, and we return yeah, well, I mean, we'll simply return this. Okay. And what's in the if statement? It's going to be this if statement. And we don't need that, we just need the distance, and the distance we can wait. And this is the distance we want. There. Okay, so we have the distance and we do stuff with that. We get high or low attack. Alright. What else is happening here? Yeah, we have this else if as well, so let's actually copy this and go back here. Don't have this else. Okay, so we're checking a whole bunch of stuff. We don't need to check you. I already have that in the switch case. Is hunting player, so that would be self. Distance, yeah, within range. Most AI, this would be this. We can actually get this out here instead, so we don't need to do all this. All right, and then the direction. Yeah, we're setting the direction here. This should be, all of this should be done in the execute part. So it should be done here, which is, I guess, throw, I think. Oh yeah, set animation, we don't have that now. Maybe we should break that out into like a, I mean, we could do, okay, we'll do this. We'll break this out into a separate function like this instead. Yeah. And I think we'll do the same thing here. These, they don't really need to be, actually we can keep that one. Okay, I don't want to have naming conflicts though. Okay. Yeah, so that's the range attack. We can now remove all this. Okay, and that's, I think that we can keep that. Alright, so let's go back here. We don't have registry, so we should have that. T, that's true. All right. Here we need entity. We also need T. Monster AI, it's self. Oh, this one should also be moved out. This is self. Self. Actually, let's do this. There we go. It formatted, so that means that we got rid of all those shallow errors. And yeah, now we need to add some stuff here. So this needs the registry, monster body, T. And this one needs a lot of stuff. Entity, tag type, monster body, direction, play body, T. Oh, you can just do like, I didn't know that you could do just pressing enter when the next parameter shows up there. Okay. Right. So now we have these switches that only handles the one monster, but oh yeah, and also this should return throw, right? Okay, so for Mossing does not have an attack, so we will just return null. And steering, we will return null for now, but now we can actually fix that later. Okay, so throw, is that not a attack? It is, but no, where are we? Oh, I need to actually like initialize stuff with this, I guess. Okay, hang on. I'm just gonna fetch my pizza. There we go. All right. So, what do we have? We have these things. That's right. Wait, but this should be Yeah, we need this. Yeah, we need this. Okay. There we go. And I guess we'll return null if we did not find anything else. Okay. So now we should be this. We can just grab attack type from there. Okay. Right. And also, yeah, we don't have any other attacks right now, so let's just do this. Okay, cannot assign to a constant, so let's do that. Make that mutable. All right, now let's test run this. Still works. Okay, cool. Right. So now we've actually, yeah, so now we've sort of added a way to have different attacks. We find out what attack type we should do depending on, you know, different circumstances, like monster type, distance to player, random numbers, whatever you want, the state of the monster, and so on. So we can add here for stening and just check if, yeah, basically the same thing, like if the distance is in a certain threshold or whatever. I guess we can do this. We can have a simple one. And distance is gonna be yeah, we're gonna have like attack distance or attack trigger distance. Monster type. I don't know why I'm mixing conventions when it comes to these constants, but let's see. So we're gonna grab, I think the range attack should be fine. 150. Okay. There. So if we are less than that distance, we will, and we don't need any randomness. We don't have the attack type for this yet, so let's actually make that attack type. This is not connected here. Okay, so we'll do a jump attack, and I guess we could have some state to it, like how much, like, you know, you could add like how high it's gonna jump, what is, or what's the jump vector, what is maybe damage or something, I don't know. But let's not add that right now. So now here we'll add a jump attack there. Okay, so now technically the staining is saying, yeah, I want to do this type of attack. Now Klet doesn't have this attack, so we're just gonna say else unreachable here. So basically any attack that we shouldn't be able to get into, we shouldn't be able to have a jump attack when you're the Klet monster. But for staining, you are gonna, I'm just gonna move this up here because it's like correct order of the monsters. Okay. Now that error should disappear, yes. But for this guy, we do want to check. I mean, I guess we could switch on the attack type, yes. Now we get the jump attack, we want to do something. Oops. Else it's going to be unreachable as well. Okay, so here's we actually want to sort of execute the attack. And it's going to have a very simple execution. And we're going to do this. We need to set the state to attack, the attack type. Hurts is gonna hurt. Basically, it's not really gonna hurt, actually. It's gonna hurt because the attack is actually the monster itself, the body of the monster, which is already sort of has a hurting damage on touch. So we don't need to set for the attack the hurt stuff, because that's just for, you know, if it extends its body or something and you have a sword or whatever and it creates a hitbox for that, but we don't need that. The animation is gonna be, I think it's called jump attack, and it's not looping, that's correct. Alright, the direction is gonna be towards the player, so that should probably be the same thing we already have there. Now what we also want to do is we want to launch the body of the monster towards the player. So I believe we have that in the jump when we do a jump, yeah. So here we have that, so let's snatch that and we will, yeah, so we have calculate jump vector. We can probably just copy this. Let's see which, this is the system. Let's make this generic. Let's move this out. And we will change, we will have the angle adjustment, which is like, well, we need to keep the actual value there. So the angle adjustment is like how many radians are we moving towards the player. If we're facing up, yeah, and then pi times that, so it's actually half of a radian, right? Wait, yeah. Okay, and so, and then, you know, you also have jump strength, so we need to actually have that as well. Jump strength. Okay, that's gonna be a variable as well. The jump strength is defined up here. Let's call this. I'm not sure if we wanna. Well, actually, it is a jump. So let's move this. We can remove these now, I think. We'll move this up to here. Whoops. And save that. Now we should get some errors. Yeah. So now this one, we know that, well, we don't know the monster type from this, but we should be able to let's just do this. Let's let's do jump strength. And we'll just return switch on self. And if you're this guy, we will return jump. Well, we have to say it like this. Oh, and we don't. Well, we could do this as well. We could do type of this like that. Otherwise, we don't have actually a jump strength. Well, actually, we do have a jump strength because we do have for the one what we are doing here. This is going to be this as well. Otherwise, we are unreachable, and then we need to define the jump strength for this guy. So let's just copy that value and we can fine tune that later. Okay. Now, what do we actually put in here? So we have registry entity and we need the angle adjustment. So I'm just gonna okay, so we need that as well. So let's just add that angle adjustment 0.1. I'm just gonna quickly add this here. Jump angle adjustment as well. And we will also do that. And go down here. No. Wait, where is it? Here. And we need. Wait. This is another place. Okay, but whatever. It's gonna be monster AI type and then angle adjustment and then monster AI type jump strength. Maybe we should just have like a jump function instead for each of them. But anyway, I don't know. This now this should be correct. There. And we have this one. Monster AI. Wait. What do we have here? Oh, self. So self dot type dot angle adjustment self type jump strength. That's correct, right? First angle adjustment and then strength. Okay. And another place is here. Right. Yeah. So master AI type angle adjustment master AI type strength. There we go. Okay. Now we can reuse that function, this logic, and we can, yeah, I mean, we basically do this. Well, we don't need the thing. Okay. So execute attack, and yeah. Oh yeah, we already have basically this here. Oh yeah, so I already added it. Okay, so yeah, so now we're grabbing the jump strength, jump angle adjustment from the generic sort of monster type, and this monster should now jump up in the air when you're close enough to it. Okay, we don't have any more compile errors, so let's actually test this now. Yeah, there you go. We got a jump. Okay. Let's go walk a little bit ways off. Yeah. So it's like aggroing, or it's like attacking you. It's maybe a bit too far away. Also, we need to like fine tune the actual attack a little bit. This is gonna be, yeah, let's just do like, I don't know, 50, maybe 70, I don't know, half of that distance. Yeah, okay, maybe a little bit more actually. So here you can see the idea is like they do like a jumping attack, but the idea is that they're gonna, yeah, I'm gonna change the animation a little bit, but they're gonna be switched, like flipped around, like upside down in the jumping animation or the attack animation. We don't want to have 10x on this. This was just to show how it would look. Okay, and then this one is like, it doesn't necessarily have to be, it's gonna be for as long as you're in the air, it's gonna have like the last frame. Okay, so now this should look a little bit better when it's attacking you. There you go. So it's like flipping around. Maybe this should be even faster. Maybe we shouldn't even have an animation for jumping. Maybe we should just instantly flip. Okay. Anyway, I think that's enough for me this time. I don't really have more time today. Maybe later tonight, but we have the jump attack, but it's not fully implemented. Well, the attack maybe is. We still need to fix animation. I don't think we're gonna get to these two. I don't know if these two we're gonna do those, but we do have. So the idea is that it's gonna be invulnerable when he's normal, and then when it does a jump attack, it's gonna miss. Well, when he misses, he's gonna stay on the ground upside down like a turtle that has to like wiggle back and forth and then recover from the stun. And in that moment when it's upside down, then he's vulnerable, so you can attack, but he's gonna recover and then attack you again and repeat. That's the idea of the monster. But anyway, yeah, as I said, I don't have any more time right now, so that's gonna be it for this time. So thanks for anyone tuning in, and